Hi, I'm Kyler Len, and this is for the final 5 exercise video. I'm going to be videotaping my brother while he does these exercises. So here's AJ. So the first exercise is going to be the squat. So you're going to get over to the barbell. You're going to put your feet about shoulder width apart, and then you're going to get ready, take your deep breath, unrack the weight. You're going to want to hinge your hips and bring your hips back as you lower yourself, keeping your knees aligned above your toes. You're going to want to go generally about till your thighs are parallel with the floor, right around there. You're going to want to keep your back neutral, like your spine neutral. So a lot of things that people do wrong when they're doing the squat is their knees will either go over their toes, or they're going to buckle or go out too far. A lot of times they have their chest too far upwards, and so they lose the spine neutrality, so they kind of bend their back too much. All right, so any kind of progressions and regressions that are going to be with the squat, that's going to be either adding or subtracting any weight. You could also do chains and or bands, or even if you had a seat, you can do box squats where you come down into the seated position, and then from there come back up. Okay, so let's slow it. No, keep the weight on. And let's lower it. All right, so real quickly, sorry about that, we're gonna get set up. 14, 15. We're gonna get set up for the bench, our next exercise. So go ahead and let's put it back on. Please tell me that's not too high. You got that? All right. So for this one, you're going to have your back flat on the seat. It's important that your hips are going to stay into the seat, and your feet are going to be on the ground flat. Okay? So when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and have your hands positioned right about shoulder width, just a little bit wider. And then you're going to unrack it. All right. So when you come down, you're going to tap your chest with the bar. And what's important here is your arm is going to be bending, and you're going to have about 45-degree angle from your torso. Okay. So a lot of things that people do wrong with this when they're doing it is they bow their arm a little too far outwards, or they have the placement of the bar in a different place, like in an odd place. Sometimes people also will lift their feet off the ground, and a lot of times when it gets too heavy, you see people raising their butt off of the seat when they're benching, so that's incorrect. Some other proper or ways to progress or regress this would be to obviously add or take off the weights. You could have bands or chains attached to the bar, or you can even switch to like an alternating dumbbells to work more on stability, maybe one arm at a time. Okay, so the next one we're going to be doing here is going to be dumbbell incline press. All right, so for this one, he's going to go back on the seat, similar to the bench press. He's going to have his feet into the ground. He's not going to lift those. His butt's going to be attached, and he's going to have his palms facing forward, and the key is to have your wrists stacked above your elbows, so your arms, and that's just going to be an up and down movement. As far down as he goes is going to be probably right around there, so a little bit lower than 90, and he's just going to keep that that parallel movement up and down. Okay, so improper things that people sometimes do is they don't keep a good wrist alignment above the elbow, so the weight will be too far forward or backwards. Another thing is people will also be lifting their butt off the seat or their feet off the ground. As far as progressions and regressions, you could use maybe a Smith machine or a barbell. You can increase or decrease the weights. And you can also alternate the weights. So you can maybe do one at a time if you start to get tired. And yeah, so the next workout that we're going to be doing is going to be a walking lunge. Okay, so for the walking lunges, you're going to have your feet right around hip distance. Yeah. So then you're going to go ahead and take your step. You're going to keep your torso upright, and then you're going to bend your knee to about 90 degrees. You're going to want that back knee to come just above the ground. And you're going to have your back knee is going to be below your hip alignment, while your front knee is going to be above your toe. So that's going to be the alignment there. So things people often do wrong is they'll step too far forward or backwards, too far forward, and so they can't keep their torso upright and they can't keep their weight in between them. It also will mess with their knee alignment. Another thing people will often do is if they come down too fast, if they're tired, their knee will slam on the ground. You want to keep balanced, and you want to keep nice and controlled throughout the entire movement. As far as progressions and regressions, you could have dumbbells at your sides, maybe a barbell over your back. You could have an increase or decrease in weights. Yes, so the last exercise we're going to do is going to be a dumbbell bent over row. Okay, so you're going to pick up your dumbbells. You're going to stand straight with a slight bend in your knees. Then you're going to hinge at the hips. And you're going to keep your back nice and neutral. And then you're going to bring your dumbbells in with your elbows close to your body. And you're going to stay nice and controlled. And you're going to keep your spine neutral. Okay, so a lot of things that people will do oftentimes is they'll look upwards, and then if they do that, it kind of messes with their spine alignment. Or if they have their chest too far up, it could mess with your alignment there. And as far as progressions or regressions, you could add weights. You can add or you can increase or decrease the weight. You could use barbell. You can use bands. And that's about it. So that's my 5 exercises. There you go.